Have you ever felt like your stakeholders might be your biggest project risk? One wrong email, one misaligned priority, and suddenly your timeline is on fire. The truth is, stakeholders can make or break our projects. But what if I told you there's a simple tool that shows you exactly where each one stands and how to move them where they need to be? Today, we're breaking down the Stakeholder Engagement Assessment Matrix, or the SEAM. This way, you can take control of your stakeholders' chaos before it derails your project into oblivion. For those who don't know me, I'm Russ Parker, project manager, risk manager, Marine Corps veteran. I'm taking the 20 years I saw in the US military, mixed with my time with corporate America, to talk about the patterns that I'm seeing again and again, especially here where it's not the plan, it's not the budget, it's stakeholder engagement that decides whether projects succeed or fail. That's why the SEAM is one of my go-to tools. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to use it. Because see, stakeholders come in all shapes and sizes. Some don't even know your project exists. And yes, I've had that happen before. Others resist every single change. And yes, I've had that before. Some of your biggest champions are your stakeholders that you don't even need them to be the champion. So you need to understand who these individuals are. And that's where the SEAM takes all that chaos and puts it into a simple grid that gives you the focus to understand who your stakeholders are, what they're doing, where they are, and where do I need them to be. So why do you want to use a SEAM? Well, three big reasons. First, it sharpens your communication. Second, it surfaces stakeholder risks before they ever explode on your projects. And third, it helps you spend your energy where it counts. This isn't a theoretical document. It's a practical map for your stakeholders to see where they are today and where you need them to be. And if you don't believe me, then let's build one together. All right, we're going to imagine we're building some new internal software. So the first thing we need to do, obviously in any situation, is we need to identify our stakeholders. So we're just going to go here to the top of our spreadsheet. We're going to write, stakeholders, CEO, head of IT, lead developer, end users, marketing team, and let's go vendor. I can spell vendor today. All right. So their quick list. Obviously, there's going to be more in your project, most likely. So we write them all down, and this becomes the rows that we're going to use in our matrix. First, we have unaware. Then we're going to have resistant, neutral, hit the wrong button there, neutral, supportive, and leading. So who are these? We got to look at these as the spectrum of engagement. These are the different ways that these stakeholders could be in our projects. And then all we have to do at this next step is just make a quick assessment on where they're at. The PM could do this by themselves. I always recommend that you at least do this with your team to make sure you get a holistic understanding on where the stakeholder is. Because sadly, even though it shouldn't be this way, stakeholders sometimes act certain ways around certain people. All right, so going back over to our map, we are looking at the current level. And when we look at the current level, we want to put a C in the column to mark where they're at. So for the CEO, we're going to say currently he is neutral. Head of I neutral too. Lead developer is resistant. End users are unaware. Not a good situation, by the way. Marketing, we're going to put them supportive. They're all about this right now. And your vendor, they're leading the march. So this right here is just a quick assessment on where they're at. Then we need to go and look, where do we need them to be? Where do we desire each of our stakeholders to be? And then we look at them and we go, okay, so our CEO right now, who is neutral, we're definitely going to want him in the leading position. He's the guy in charge. We need him, let's just say he's our sponsor. We need him leading, talking to people and getting them on board. The head of IT, we probably need them supporting us. We're using their resources. The lead developer, I need them at least neutral. I mean, they're going to do their job. So if they're not supporting the work, that's one thing, but definitely want them neutral. Same with the end users. We're going to want to get them up in the way. Our marketing team, currently supportive. I'm actually pretty good with them right now. I really, I'm trying to lead meetings and the vendor keeps jumping in with how awesome this is and how they can support us. And it's like, that's great. But I really need them just supporting. I need them supporting me and stop getting in the way a little bit. So this is a reason when you can downgrade. You can say, hey, you are too high. I need to pull them back. We have our allies, our risks, and we have the gaps that we need to close with our project team. And this is where the seam really shines. Every C or D gap becomes an action plan. We have the neutral head of IT, invite him to a review, get him into that technical plan, give them a piece of the pie to become a supportive part of the team. You got that resistance developer, sit down, listen to them, find out the root of their pushback, and then reframe the role to make them a technical champion for that project. The unaware end users, you definitely need to launch a communication blitz. Emails, demos, pilot group. Help get that over anxious marketing team on your back and actually start working with end users so that you can market to them so they know what's coming. Turn everyone into an advocates and make them an advantage for you as the PM. Don't make them holding you back or causing you extra problems. Hopefully you see the pattern now. You're not just reacting to chaos. You're taking charge strategically of the people on your project. One quick warning though when it comes to this. Your assessment is purely subjective here. So base it on actions, not on assumptions. And remember your stakeholder shift. Someone who's supportive today could become resistant tomorrow. That's why the seam is like a GPS. It's not on autopilot. You have to keep checking it, just like everything else I talk about. You have to keep reassessing your stakeholders. And as you get new ones on the project, you need to add them on there, assess them, and develop an action plan to get them where you need them to be. So next time you feel like you're herding cats, pull up your Stakeholder Engagement Assessment Matrix and let it shift you from reactive to from putting out fires to proactive, preventing them in the first place when it comes to your stakeholders. Now, if this helped you understand your seam, please hit like, subscribe to this channel, and ring that bell so you don't forget when I have future videos talking about project management, risk management, and leadership. And if you like this, check out the video I did right here where I break down the RACI matrix. These project documents are here to make our lives easier. Learn to use them, apply them in your daily life, and life becomes easier. I'm Russ Parker, the Bearded PM. I'm out.